In rich Western countries, girls and women now match or outperform boys and men in basic and tertiary education completion. But this advantage in schooling does not translate fully into equal earnings or leadership. Women and girls in low and lower middle income parts of Asia and Africa are more likely than men to be out of school and in child marriage or in unpaid family work, especially where conflict or climate crises are present. Literacy rates are a significant challenge. Only 60% of African women achieved literacy in 2020, compared to the global average of 88%. But as in Western countries, girls outnumber boys in graduation rates across primary and secondary levels in many African countries. Hey you, perfect soul. I am Sophia, author, self-help, spirituality, sociology and fantasy action, with a PhD in sociology. Female top leaders is still something rare, unobtainable and unrewarding, even though research clearly shows that the winning concept for successful leadership of today is to be compassionate, sustainable and collaborative. Traits that are defined as typical feminine leadership traits, but obviously can be developed by men. It is an understanding of feeling deeply so you can see clearly. It is a power of presence and resonance that combine emotion with reason and empathy with strategy. So let's integrate and transform. Let's Ubuntu, Namaste, Aloha, Dao, Frid, Salam and Shalom, in peace, harmony and love. In academia, women now earn a large share of PhDs. It is actually almost half-half on the doctorand graduate, but still remain underrepresented among full professors and university leaders in Western countries. And gaps are typically wider in many Asian and African systems. The glass ceiling is, in other words, still persistent. Female professors or senior academics women range in EU, depending on country and field, around 20 to 30% of the whole group. The top group of EU researchers consists of around 35% women. Sociocultural evolutions have shifted leadership values to emphasize emotional compatibility and maturity over more physical dominance, which match women's strengths in these domains. Business research even finds that women often outperform men in most leadership competencies across large samples. Together, biology and culture results in a higher average capacity for relational, integrative, mature leadership, and therefore strongly predict leadership effectiveness. When it comes to emotional intelligence and leadership, evidence finds women often score higher on many EQ dimensions. These competencies, like empathy and emotional perception, relationship building, self-management, and resilience, strongly predict sustainable leadership outcomes. One reason for this is that women generally have stronger integration between the body and the right hemisphere of the brain, which allows for greater sensitivity to emotional and sensory stimuli and holistic thinking. More neural junctions connecting both hemispheres support intuition. The presence of hormones such as estrogen and oxytocin in women promotes emotional bonding, intuition, and empathy, further activating the right hemisphere's activity, which governs intuition and emotional regulation. This together affect decision-making styles, where women leaders tend to be more inclusive, collaborative, and transformational, which fosters team cohesion and long-term success. On average, women also tend to show advantages in verbal abilities like verbal fluency and long-term memory retrieval, and are often found to have stronger, more vivid emotional memories, which is linked to emotional processing. This is also linked to brain regions, which is critical for learning and memorization, and differences in the default mode network, DMN, which is involved in self-referential thought and social cognition. The female tendency towards holistic perception and intuition, which involves taking in and connecting information broadly, also contrasts with the male tendency toward more logical or visual-spatial focused processing. This creates in a way a mental health paradox. Despite reporting higher stress levels, depression and anxiety, women also express greater life satisfaction and emotional maturity, possibly due to better coping mechanism, high levels of resilience, and social support networks. Cultural expectations also heavily shape how emotions are expressed and valued. Navigating societal pressures, gender-based discrimination, and often juggling multiple roles like career, household, caregiving can also require and foster significant emotional intelligence and fortitude. Women's better understanding on responsiveness to feelings contribute to their greater emotional maturity and ability to navigate complex social and professional environments. All this may explain why many women seem to bloom or expand after midlife. Women over 50 often fuse outer success with inner purpose by using compassion as strategy. They combine deep wisdom, life experience, and compassion with leadership or creativity. So here's what you can do. Dare to shift from ambition to legacy, from achieving to awakening, and be open about it. Support women and men over 50 to allow their ambitions to soften into clarity, to the quiet knowing of purpose. Support girls in higher education. Be an active and loving change maker, and above all, be your perfect balance of our two sacred energies. Love is contagious, so love like crazy. Blessed day.